Of stolen cars can be heard ripping through roads.
They're stealing Kias and Hyundais with a cell phone charger.
And a new viral trend that is now a real-life menace.
I don't give a fuck where you at. If you in Japan, Australia, you in the middle of Antarctica, you got a kid that's on that, please be safe. So I'm gonna beat your ass whoever did this, bro.
Earlier this year, the Kia Boys Challenge took over TikTok, and because of it, thousands of cars just like this one have been stolen with nothing more than a screwdriver and an iPhone cable. How the hell do you steal a car with just these two things? Well, today, we're gonna find out. Welcome to Donut. A couple of months ago, TikToks of kids stealing cars with nothing more than a USB cable and calling themselves the Kia Boys went viral. That trend started with a bunch of kids in Milwaukee who figured out that certain model Kias and Hyundais were unusually easy to steal. So they started breaking into them and then joyriding them around town. No, you heard of the Kia Boys?
After this video, your life is never going to be the same. So I need you to stop whatever you're doing and give me your undivided attention.
Joyriding them around town. No, you heard of the Kia Boys? And then look at this guy.
It's just hilarious because, like, these, okay, no offense to Kia, they're like the most boring cars to steal.
I know.
Every video I've seen of this tomfoolery, it's just like kids swerving. Like this guy, he's just swerving back and forth. It's a crime of almost convenience, you know.
Yeah.
Like these are super easy to steal, and then just do this, just swerve back and forth,
Just swerving. And they have their seatbelt on.
This is what happens when you defund schools.
This is a lady who's a victim of it.
That sucks.
So they trashed her car.
She was Gertie, and she was my pride and joy.
She's talking about the car, right?
She's not anymore.
Why do they have to use the name?
I love it.
Like it's a person.
McFarlane is among Milwaukee's nearly 4,000 victims of car theft. This year, many at the hands of the Kia Boys, stealing Hyundais and Kias for joyrides. Compared to this, thefts are down a bit.
Now in my head, I'm thinking that my car, my baby, Gertie, is out there, maybe jumping a curb and hitting somebody.
I feel bad for these people. I feel bad too. Nolan doesn't give a shit about these people. The fact that there was another one.
That was comedy gold. That was insane, dude. Carol, I'm sorry that happened to your car.
And we're sorry to hear about Gertie.
But, dude, Gertie fucking sent it, dude.
But this isn't something that's just happening in Milwaukee. It's happening nationwide. In Detroit, 111 Kias were stolen in the month of July. In Charlotte, North Carolina, 156 Kias and Hyundais were stolen in the same month. And cops, even in Chicago, have reported a 767% increase in vehicle thefts. Even here in Los Angeles, there have already been over 1,600 more Kias and Hyundais stolen compared to last year. So what I want to know is, how are the Kia Boys doing this? Now, a car's ignition system is a pretty simple combination of a lock cylinder and an electrical switch. Use the right key and you can rotate that cylinder to activate a switch, which closes off a circuit to engage the starter. Now, in the past, thieves could steal your car by taking a screwdriver and ramming it into the ignition cylinder, or by using some sort of contraption like this to hotwire your car. Now, hotwiring a car isn't like what it is in the movies. What the idea is, you can rip apart the steering column, which we've already done. You can pull out the wiring from behind the ignition cylinder, and then take some sort of jumper wire and jump some of these lines, bypassing the switch itself in the ignition cylinder and starting the car. Let's see if I can actually get this thing started.
After this video, your life is never going to be the same. So I need you to stop whatever you're doing.
Is the lips cool?
Yeah, I like the lip.
Okay. I'm gonna look at the back of this plug here. What I need to do is just push in the clutch. Heck yeah. Hotwired my first car. Now that wasn't particularly hard to do, but for the past couple decades, most automobile manufacturers have been defending against those types of attacks by installing immobilizers and using chipped keys. Now, using a chipped key installs a second electrical circuit to the starting system. That system only functions if the car detects the correct radio signal from a microchip in the keys. Even if you bypass that immobilizer by hotwiring it, most cars will also have a steering lock. That lock won't disengage unless you have a key in the ignition, making it nearly impossible to drive away with your car. Unless you just want to steer off in that steering wheel locked position the entire time. Then you're golden. Now, the downside to all of this is that immobilizers and chipped keys are often fairly expensive. And if you happen to lose your key, you often have to go to the dealership to get it reprogrammed. And because of that extra expense, some cheaper cars don't include them. Which brings us to the Kia Challenge. This is our buddy Connor's 2019 Hyundai Elantra, which has actually already been stolen once. So we're gonna try to steal it a second time with nothing more than a screwdriver and a USB cable. You don't even really need this, but I'm gonna use it because I want to try to be delicate. And when I say a USB cable like this, I'm not transferring data, I'm just physically using this shape, matches up nicely with the backside of that ignition cylinder. Pop this off, that's good. So I've taken this apart with 2 screws so we don't break the plastic, but what these guys do is this plastic's so flimsy, these little tabs, you just rip this down and these tabs pop off. So I'm going to get my plug out the way. See this is the problem area right here. Under it, yank it completely out. So I'm gonna depress this and pull this cylinder out. And there we have it. So we got the ignition cylinder out. And so what this does is it mates up with the ignition cylinder right here. That looks to be about the same size. Just a USB plug. So here we go. Jam it on there. Moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. Building tension, suspense. Will it work? Heck yeah. Holy crap. Yo, I'm part of the Kia boys. I'm a Kia boy now. Nice. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Hop in, Nick. Let's go do some Kia boy stuff. Kia boys application. So how some teenagers figured this out, I have no clue. But what I do know is that some engineers over at Kia definitely messed up. How could such a large car company mass manufacture a car that's so easy to steal? So we reached out to Kia to see what they had to say about the problem and received a very polite but largely uninformative response. They said, "It is unfortunate that criminals are using social media to target vehicles without engine immobilizers," calling it a coordinated effort by those criminals. They also added that all of our vehicles meet or exceed federal motor vehicle safety standards. But it turns out not everyone agrees with that, and there's now a class action lawsuit against Kia and Hyundai in several states. And by the way, if you're in the courtroom watching this, go to donutmedia.com and get yourself a "I was in a courtroom with a Donut Media video played t-shirt." The thing is, other car manufacturers don't have this problem, at least that we know of. And if Kia isn't going to tell us what the problem is, well, we're just going to have to find out ourselves. Oh, this you joint. So we ripped out the ignition cylinder from the Cabrio that I hot wired earlier, and I went online and I bought the same ignition cylinder from the Hyundai that I also stole. I'm gonna take these two, compare them, and see what the differences are. Okay, so you remember that plug that I removed from the Cabrio before that let me hotwire the car? Well, this is where it mates up to in the backside of the cylinder. Now, if I pop this off, you can see when you twist this key, it rotates that little pin right there. And that pin fits on the backside of this connector. And when you rotate that, that connector jumps these pins and allows the car to start. Unfortunately, getting this piece out is a major. You had to take the whole steering shaft out to be able to get enough room to pull this piece out. So while it is similar in how it functions compared to a Kia, it's much harder to get to the vulnerable piece to get the car to be able to start. Okay, so let's look at this Kia cylinder and see how it differs. Like we did earlier, all I have to do is push this little pin in and that whole assembly pops out, exposing our nice little USB slot, which we can turn and crank the car over. Now, we did it this way because we were being non-destructive, but if I were a real Kia boy, all I would have to do is take a screwdriver, pry it in here, and just wiggle this a little bit, bend it enough to where it pops that pin. That pin is the only thing preventing this whole entire assembly from popping out. So the fatal flaw in the Kia system is that small little pin. That's it. So why did Kia put these in their cars in the first place? Well, it seems to me the only answer is cost. All of this could have been avoided by using an immobilizer. And in fact, cars in Canada have this same system in it, but use an immobilizer because they're required by law to do so. And this affects cars from 2011 all the way to 2021. If you were to factor in all the different models that use this over that many years, that is a ton of money that Kia saved. And now, Gertie's gone. So how can you protect yourselves if you own one of these cars? Well, Kia says they're working with local law enforcement to provide free wheel locks to those in highly affected areas. But the problem is, this is a nationwide thing, and they're only working in places like Milwaukee, St. Louis, Memphis. And if you don't live in those areas, Kia is offering a $170 kit to protect your car, but that doesn't include the installation costs, which could be up to $500. So if you happen to have a car and you don't live in those places, you're gonna have to figure out a solution for yourself. Maybe a kill switch, maybe another sort of lock. I don't know. We've done some anti-theft videos here at Donut. Why don't you check one out and watch?
Does your wallet feel like overstuffed luggage? Do your keys sound like a dang fire alarm? Then you need today's sponsor, the Ridge Wallet. The Ridge Wallet can expand and hold up to 12 cards plus have room for cash. You can even test drive it for 45 days. If you don't like it, you can send it back for a full refund. But you're gonna love it, just like you'll love this. The Ridge key case organizes up to 6 keys into a minimalist, compact silhouette. Can you hear that? Nice and quiet. Now the holiday season is almost here, and if you are looking for the perfect gift, head over to ridgewallet.com/donutmedia and use the code donutmedia to get 10% off, plus free worldwide shipping and returns, or just click the link below.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video and everything else at Donut. Till next week. Bye for now.